Picture this, two guys trapped in the South Charleston Public Library. One guy loves movies, the other, well, he'd rather be watching reality TV. Can they survive each other's films? Find out on Real Opposites, a library podcast about movies, hosted by Josh and Aaron from the South Charleston Public Library.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Real Opposites. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Josh.
And today we have a special guest, our work study student from WVSU, Drew.
Hey guys.
All right, so this is going to be our Ryan Gosling episode. Drew chose La La Land for us because I haven't seen it. And then Josh and I both chose Drive for Drew. We both love that movie, and he had not seen that one. So I guess we're going to go ahead and jump straight into La La Land.
Sure.
And Drew, if you want to kind of give us like the synopsis of La La Land and then tell us why you chose that one.
Okay, so it says, winner of 6 academic awards, including Best Director for writer-director Damon Chazelle, is that it? Chazelle, and winner of record-breaking 7 Golden Globes Awards. La La Land is more than the most acclaimed movie of the year, and it's a cinematic treasure for the ages that you'll fall in love with again and again. Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling star as Mia and Sebastian, an actress and a jazz musician pursuing their Hollywood dreams and finding each other in a vibrant celebration of hope, dreams, and love.
So what is it about this movie that you like and made you choose this one?
I am a musical baby. I did show choir for 4 years, and then that really got me into like musicals and whatnot. But before that, like I didn't know anything about it. And somebody in the show choir was like, "Have you seen La La Land?" It's like, "No, what is La La Land?" And they're like, "You have to watch it." So I went home and I watched it. I was like, "This movie is a cinematic masterpiece." And ever since that day, I've watched it maybe 12 times.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Did you like musicals beforehand, or
No, not really.
did La La Land spur you to like more musicals?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like, what are some of your other favorites?
Okay, so this one's super good. But this kind of opened up like a view of like actual like Broadway musicals. You know, of course, Hamilton on Disney Plus, and I really like Heathers. The music in that one is super, super good. But
Did you ever see the original movie?
oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. Have you not seen Heathers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh,
Want
it's
to,
really
I just
good.
never have.
It's really, really good.
Have you seen the Evil Dead musical?
There's a musical for Evil Dead.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like available as a movie though. I think
it
it's
is.
basically only a stage show.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Well, I've
Good
seen
time.
Sweeney Todd.
Oh, that one's good.
Yeah, that
Movie?
one's super good. Yeah, I mean, it mostly just kind of opened my eyes to like Broadway type musicals.
So it was
but
your
I mean,
gateway drug.
Yeah.
huh?
It was your gateway drug.
Oh, 100%. Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like musicals. I can't like think of any on the top of my head, but like, you know, when they're like when they are available, I will try to watch any kind that I can.
Right.
So you're a dancer, right? Do you like the ones that have more dancing or more singing?
Okay. Oh, it's hard. I would say, I guess it just depends. Like the opening scene of La La Land where they're out in traffic and they're doing all this random choreography. That was super cool. But then, you know, when Ryan Gosling and whatnot starts to sing, I'd go crazy because he's so awesome. So
I agree with
I
that.
don't know. I think overall probably the singing aspect of it. But I mean, you know, the choreography and whatnot, if it's done right, can be super awesome.
Yeah, they should work in harmony.
Yeah, right.
I find that choreography is hard to translate more to film than it is. Like, so choreography, like the dancing's always beautiful in a stage show. Like it's always impressive, but on film, it's like you have to pick your moments, I think, for choreography. And so when a musical does it well, like Hairspray does a great job.
Oh,
We talked
Hairspray's
about
awesome.
Hairspray on the show before.
Yeah.
Really good. But if it's like the Jets and the Sharks and the based in the 50s and Maria,
West Side Story.
West Side Story
Oh, yeah.
doesn't translate as well to film because those big dance numbers can kind of feel like they slowed the action rather than progressing it. So I was just wondering which you liked better on film.
So I guess we have Drew's perspective, what did you think? You'd never seen it before.
Right. Well, I had started it once because I'm a fan of Ryan Gosling, and I knew I'd fallen asleep, and I realized this time that I fell asleep during the opening number. So
That's crazy.
You fell asleep?
That's crazy.
not this time.
Oh, not this time.
But I realized watching it
That
this
is
time,
insane.
I thought I'd seen like a few minutes of it. I didn't even make it past the opening number.
Are you sure you don't have narcolepsy?
No, I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, I barely made it past the opening number when I first watched it, too. So.
You what?
I barely made it past the opening number when I first watched it. Too.
It's not that the opening number's bad, but I think for me being thrown directly into it, not knowing what it is, because I didn't read the back of the DVD or anything, I just put it in and watch it. I do think the opening number for some reason throws me off a little bit.
Well, it's very like...
Because I have no story yet.
Yeah, it's a bit like an opening action spectacular or something.
Yeah.
Like it's not... It's just like letting you know, hey, this is a musical in case you didn't know.
Right, and it definitely lets you know that.
Yeah,
it had no like correlation to the rest of the movie whatsoever. Like it just happened and then like moved on.
I mean,
Well, you do meet both characters
it
during
leads
that.
into them.
Right.
And
but they didn't do anything in the sequence.
That is one thing I really liked about this movie is the opening scene shows you both characters. You meet both of them briefly, and then it splits off and it goes to her day, and then it splits off, comes back and circles around to his day that day.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. But I mean, overall, to answer the question, I guess, overall, I really like this movie. Once I got past that, opening scene that threw me off the first time.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of, to me, it was whimsical in a way, which I really liked. I thought some of the dancing kind of was funny, but supposed to be. Like when they're sitting on the bench and just their legs start moving at first.
Yeah.
And then when they're dancing and they are like dancing in the sky all of a sudden, things like that.
The planetarium.
Yeah. Like it was whimsical in that way, and I kind of enjoyed that. There were parts of it which I know not a masterpiece or anything, but parts of it did remind me of the musical episode of Buffy, which I don't know that you've ever seen. But but some of the dancing you could tell it was supposed to be funny, or at least I thought so.
No, I mean the musical numbers are very, for the most part, very whimsical
and fun.
And it starts off like it's just a big throwback,
right,
to 50s and 60s musicals.
Yeah,
like the parts that I like are not the musical sequences.
Yeah,
they're good, and like I appreciate the like how classically staged they are. Like there's just long takes and really beautiful really widescreen.
Yeah,
photography and they're good musical numbers. I'm more drawn into their relationship and how a little bit more to the somber nature of it as it moves.
Yeah,
they go out of each other's lives. I like the ending a lot.
Yeah, I think.
Oh my gosh, the ending tore me up the first time I watched it. Like absolutely killed me. But like every single time I watch it, like I have a different feeling about it. But like the first time I watched it, like I hated.
Yeah.
Like I verbally said, this movie sucks.
Well, I mean, of course I was rooting for them to be together in the end, but I also think this was a kind of movie that you don't see often as far as their love for each other and the way that can always be there, but life still goes on kind of thing. I think it depicted that really well.
I mean, people come in and out of your lives.
Exactly. And at the end, they look at each other and they smile. Mm-hmm. And you can tell there's still that love there. There's not a hate. It's just life has went on, and there's always remnants of that. And I think that happens a lot in life because, like you said, people come in and out of your life, and I don't know. It's just a different depiction of love that I haven't seen in a lot of movies. Now, granted, I don't watch a lot of love movies, and y'all tricked me because both of these are love movies, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah, I know. I did not think Drive was going to be what it was.
You trick yourself a lot because you tend to pick a lot of
because I always forget about the love part.
Yeah.
Like, I totally forgot that girl even existed, which we'll talk about in Drive.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I like all the hand gestures.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, just like,
but
very animated today. I don't know why.
That's a good way to look at it. I mean, of course, there's like multiple ways, you know, you can look at it. at first, I thought that it was right person, wrong time.
Oh yeah,
ordeal.
For sure.
I mean, of course, it was obvious they're meant to be together because it shows you the whole what would happen if
they had been
together and it would have been perfect and whatnot. But then again, Sebastian wouldn't have opened up his place, and Mia wouldn't have been, an actress.
Right.
So you can also see it as I guess depends on how you see it, but you can't commit to true love if you already have dreams that you want to go accomplish.
It's depending on what you're putting into what you're prioritizing.
Right. Yeah.
They're both prioritizing their dreams of stardom, and I think the film's talking about how that can kind of. I mean, it's good to have your dreams, but at the same time, it's not much like how blinding the appeal of stardom and fame can be, that it can take away something that would really, at the end of the day, be more meaningful to you over your lifetime.
I think that depends on who you are, though. Like, for a lot of people, like, what is your true love? Is your true love another person, or is it your art? Mm-hmm. And for some people, that answer is their art form over, it doesn't matter who the person is. It's nice to have a partner or someone to share your life with, but there are some people that answer is just not someone else. And I think that's the case for both of them in the movie, whereas their romance would have been a perfect romance. It's ultimately like not what they want, and giving that up for this other person might not have been as perfect as it is like showed to be. You know what I mean? Like, because I think if you give up large swaths of who you are for someone else, then you grow to resent that person. And I think this shows like how to part amicably and pursue your dreams, which is hard. That's a hard that's a hard thing to swallow, I think, but it is a good. I'm with you, Aaron. You don't see this very often.
Yeah, and I agree. That's something that you saw is being able to part amicably. Okay, I'm just gonna not say that.
just cut me in, and I'll say.
Yeah, there you go. Just use his edit. But it is that it's loving somebody so much that you can give up what you want for what they want in a way, and they both did that. But love movies are gross, y'all.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I think
you like this.
You loved The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Yeah, but that's different. That's way different.
Come on.
I don't feel. Yeah, but no, I did. This is one that I enjoyed because I liked the aspect that they showed, because I feel like that is something that is not shown a lot and definitely happens in life 100%. But the music and the whimsical parts actually are nice to break it up a little bit so it's not so serious. But I also agree with you, Josh. I think this movie could be a movie without the music. I mean, without the musical dancing and things like that. I mean, the movie's based around music itself, but
yeah, it is just kind of integral because they're both in showbiz,
right?
Or they're wanting to be.
But it could be done without the huge musical numbers.
It could be,
and still be a good movie.
Yeah,
but I do like the musical numbers to kind of break up.
I do like the musical numbers on their own.
Yeah, and they're well done.
Sometimes I think what I feel in this one is that they can feel a little forced, like they're trying to force it in where it doesn't quite fit sometimes. And it's like, maybe I'm just a little cynical about it, but it feels like, hey, we're going to revive the musical. And,
right.
And it's like, are you? I mean, I don't think with the musical numbers, they're really well made. The songs are not super memorable, but they're good songs. Like I can still hear the, what's the main one? The one that kind of goes throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Super important.
And
we call that the refrain in musical theater. It's revisited.
Okay.
It's correct.
Yeah. I don't even know.
I didn't mean to derail you. I was just trying to be helpful.
No, but I get where you're going with that. With it kind of felt forced, and I think to me are the parts that I thought were kind of funny because they were like they had that forced feel, But to me, I felt like it was kind of on purpose and it was funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's worse things than like trying too hard.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least they're trying for what they run. I mean, I like the movie too. Gosling and Emma Stone are just they have chemistry. I think they both have chemistry with anyone they work with. It seems like.
That was one thing I was really excited about. And I remember when this movie came out, and that's why I wanted to see it so bad, because I absolutely love both of them. Mm-hmm. And I agree. I think they are great together, but you're right. I think they have that star quality where they have chemistry with whoever's on scene with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Gosling especially, like he plays like quiet introspection just about better than anybody working right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Not to talk about Drive, but there's like a moment in Drive where I guess I'll save that for Drive. But anyway,
I was going to say, you're like, not to talk about Drive, but I'm going to.
But there's several moments in here, like when he's playing the piano at the end.
Right.
And
it's super important
he's just looking at the piano as he's playing. He's just looking straight ahead. He's dead-eyed.
Right.
He's not looking at her, even though he sees her there. Like, he knows she's there. I don't know. He's really good about sitting in the silence.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Allowing audience members to project onto him.
Yeah. Which is a good thing.
Which I like, because that opens up a little bit more ambiguity.
Right.
Especially in Drive. Less so in this, but more in Drive.
Yeah. So with that final piano sequence when she is at his place.
At his club.
Yeah. I don't know if you picked up on this. It took me a few watches. But when he's playing that, he does not finish the last note. He didn't play the last note of their theme. It's called the Mia and Sebastian theme. Mm-hmm. But he didn't play that last note, and I would say it's because their quote unquote story never finished. Mm-hmm. There was no ending. They had to separate and do their own thing. So you can't you know what I mean? Like it wasn't.
Yeah, that's interesting.
They weren't together. Yeah. And another thing is, after they had that fight about him being in that group and it's not what he actually wants. Yeah. From that point forward until Mia is singing it at her audition, there's not a single song that is played. And in that period, they're both like unhappy with what they're doing. Mia is doing this play and she hates it because no one shows up, Right. Sebastian's in that group where he knows that he's not supposed to be in, and there's not a single bit of like whimsical aspect until Mia is at the audition and she sings about her past, about happy moments that gets her that role.
Yeah.
And then it picks up again from there. But I thought that was super cool. But yeah, they did not play the last note, which it took me a while to figure that out. But I thought that was super cool too. There's a lot of depth, even though it's a very like whimsical movie. There's all kinds of, I don't even want to say theories, just like things that you have to really watch out for and see after like you watch it once. Like you got to rewatch it to see it again.
Movies are made to be seen more than once. Mm-hmm. Like good ones anyway, that have a lot of thought and care put into them.
Yeah. Right.
Not so much like 17 again.
I was like, what way to like elicit like this feeling of like discomfort with it not having closure? Mm-hmm. Like, because I feel like anybody who's been paying attention to the music is like, when it doesn't like end all the way, like a little bit of like like I don't like, this is uncomfortable kind of. I watched a horror movie that did that. They like cut the music in the last like 15 minutes of the movie, and it was just wildly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They had music going the whole time. But I think that's great. So did Damien Chazelle, he's the director of this, is he also Whiplash?
Yeah, he did Whiplash.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great film. And then I think he did Babylon.
I haven't seen that.
Which I really liked, and I think he definitely has this obsession with old Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And he goes even further back for that one.
There was a lot of Fosse in this one, which I wouldn't know if we hadn't watched
All That Jazz.
All That Jazz.
Yeah. And I think he does a better job with Babylon about like how like utilizing. They're both shot on 35mm film, and I think they look beautiful. Just the way the light catches the actors' faces and everything. Mm-hmm. But I think that one's more of a examination of Hollywood's transition to sound period and people with dreams coming into. I mean, it's like the more like Wolf of Wall Street version of La La Land. Like just people that are coming into Hollywood wanting to act, wanting to, be musicians, whatever. But it's more like hit you across the face, than a love story about,
It sounds like it's kind of like Whiplash, because that's like a deep character study.
Whiplash is like a very tight,
very
focused.
Different, yeah.
That's a great movie. Have you ever seen that, Aaron?
I have not.
It's really good.
You would really
I've seen Whiplash.
Yeah. It's really good. J.K. Simmons is just like a beast.
He's awesome.
And it's got that one boy who was
Miles
surprisingly... I mean, not that he's a bad actor. I just had only ever seen him in the Footloose remake, so I was like...
Yeah, Miles Teller.
Shocked by how good...
He's super
Miles
good.
Teller, how good he was in that.
I can't remember if that won Best Editing, but the editing in that film is really, really great. It's very it's not a long movie either, but it's,
I don't think I've ever even heard of it.
Really?
What?
J.K. Simmons won an Oscar for it. It was like it's about the drum. I mean, it's about drummers. Like he's a I forget what school. So you go into
I think
whatever.
it might be Juilliard or something.
Something
J.K.
big.
Simmons is
Yeah.
a teacher, and he's just really, really, really a big a-hole.
Yeah.
And he pushes his students, and Miles Teller's a new student, and
I don't even know if Big A-hole does it justice. I mean, like he is a big a-hole.
it's like the musical.
It's just on the B.I.G.
It's like the musical director version of Arlie Ermey in Full Metal Jacket.
But we have it at the South Charleston Public Library. So if you would like to come down and get it, please do so. We have a bunch of other movies as well. Shameless plug.
So I was reading some of the little facts about the movie.
Yeah.
And I already knew Ryan Gosling's pretty great, but I thought it was kind of cool. They pre-recorded the piano performances.
Oh yeah.
By a different person. And then Ryan Gosling spent 2 hours a day, 6 days a week in piano lessons, learning the music by heart. Mm-hmm. So when they finally started filming, he was able to play them himself. So he actually played them throughout the whole movie. And John Legend had said he was jealous of how quickly he was able to learn the music.
Well, it's funny because Ryan Gosling he plays guitar.
Yeah.
And John Legend is a piano player, and they switched roles. I mean, John Legend played guitar in the movie, and Ryan Gosling played piano. But that was super crazy when you realize that there's not like cuts to when he's playing piano. Like it shows that he was able to do all of that.
Which I know he does play piano some in the one album his band put out. I wish they put out another one.
Oh, what's it
Ryan
called?
Gosling, if you're listening.
I didn't know he had a band.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know?
Dead Man's Bones.
That's what it is.
The probably the most popular song from that would be in Conjuring.
Power. That one's good too.
What one?
Power.
Yeah, but the most famous one I would think would be the one that's in Conjuring.
It's in The Conjuring?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when they're playing like hide and seek. Wait, is that a different movie? Wait, no.
In the Room Where You Sleep is in The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The girls are playing hide and seek.
Uh-huh.
I think it's in that scene.
I think the genre is like vampire rock. I think that's what it's called.
It's all like, it's perfect for October.
It's perfect for, right now, like it's
But he plays
awesome.
piano some in that, and then there's a children's choir that's on a couple of the things, which also makes it creepy. I love it. It's absolutely
Let's check it out.
fun. But I thought it was cool that he had to learn it, and he learned it and played it, and it worked out really well. And plus, they both can sing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I honestly didn't realize Emma Stone was a singer.
Yes.
But it was funny, after I watched this, a little video on my phone popped up, and it was Emma Stone was actually, before she was famous. Anyways, before she was famous, she was on the reality show. I forget the name of it, but it was where they were looking for a new Partridge Family.
Oh.
Ooh.
Becoming Partridge or something like that. But a little video of her, like, as a young teen singing popped up, and I was like, oh, so she's always sang. I didn't realize this.
She's done a couple of Broadway shows. Like she did
Right,
Cabaret,
that's what I thought.
and she also sings in Easy A quite a bit.
That's a great little movie.
Does she?
Yeah.
I like that movie.
The finale is her singing Knock on Wood to apologize to the guy.
Oh,
Who is
That's a good teen
I
movie.
guess I'd have to
Yeah.
rewatch that. I don't
you should
remember
rewatch Easy A. That's a great teen
I don't
movie.
remember,
I absolutely love it.
her singing in it.
Yeah.
I kind of remember her like at the end, like Toby's saying.
Yeah. I mean, she jokingly sings Pocket Full of Sunshine for like a few minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And
That
also,
song.
but like she absolutely sings like well at the end. Yeah. Have you seen Easy A?
No,
You
I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's great.
She gets a card from her grandma that is Pocket Full of Sunshine, and she's like, I hate this song. And then, like, it cuts to her in the shower later, like, singing to it over and over
that's
again.
a good song.
Funny. Yes, but at the time it came out, the song was, like, inescapable. It was everywhere. I love her. Her and Ryan Gosling has said that working with her is hard because they're both such cut-ups that they can't. Yeah. Like, it's hard for them to get through a serious scene together because they just make each other laugh, which is not the worst.
Must have been somewhat difficult because they shot this in just, I think, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tight.
It's a short. Really? For a musical, it's pretty short.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tend to do a lot of takes on the musical numbers, but like I think the scene, like the kind of iconic scene where near the park, but they're in the bench, like
they start tap dancing.
Yeah, they had to shoot. They only shot 5 takes over 2 nights because they could only shoot between like 7:20 and 7:50.
Yeah, it was like a 30-minute window.
Yeah, so and it says it's take 4 that is in the movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's pretty impressive to shoot a movie. Because a lot of the takes are very long, like long Steadicam shots. I mean, probably average length of a shot in the movie is, I don't know, probably 20 seconds. Like it's not a, and it's not. And I appreciate that where the dialogue scenes aren't cut up. It's not just over the shoulder shots.
Right.
They just let the actors play and let them see their body language. I really like that in the film. Like I said, I really appreciate. Just about everything about the film, like as far as the production goes. Sometimes I just feel like the musical numbers get in the way, and like they seem at odds with the story to a certain extent. But that's just because I'm not really a musical.
Do you have a favorite song?
I can't remember the names of them.
Oh man,
I like the one where she's getting ready with the girls, whatever that one is.
Someone in the Crowd.
Someone in the Crowd. I like that one.
You know, the blonde one. I think she wore.
I think it's Jessica Roth.
I think it was the green. She was Happy Death Day.
Yeah, Jessica Roth. We were talking about her on the last one, I think, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was directed by the same people or produced by the same people.
Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Blumhouse made Happy Death Day. And Blumhouse made this, and Blumhouse made that.
That one's really good. And I think my favorite one is either when Ryan Gosling sings "City of Stars" with Emma Stone, not on the boardwalk, or the tap dance one, just because I love. Choreography.
I thought that one was fun.
That one was super fun.
That was probably my favorite one, where they're like talking about how they're
like not meant to be at all, and then they do that whole thing.
Yeah,
super fun. My first year of show choir, we did Another Day of Sun, and then that's how I found out about it. And then someone told me to watch it.
Oh, okay.
So so that was super cool because like I got to like perform the song, but it wasn't like actual. From the show, but like we did the song itself and got to dance to it.
Yeah.
So I probably connect to it more because of that, because I have memories to it,
Right.
I do psychology in college.
Yeah.
Memories, connect. But yeah, probably the tap dancing one is my favorite song just because it's funny. It's nice.
Going back to the long sequences, I read that the director is known for using long uninterrupted takes, and he also uses at least one sequence spooled backwards. So the shot of them in the planetarium where they fall out of the air perfectly into their seats was actually shot
reverse.
Oh,
that's cool.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
I didn't notice that because that's pretty. Usually you can notice reverse shots,
right?
Pretty easy, but
I thought that one was really good.
I just watching. I'm just thinking about Gosling. I'm thinking about his like. When he's with J.K. Simmons in the bar, and like he's getting fired, and just his mannerisms and everything. I would like to see him if he would have been able to make like a silent film.
I think he could do it.
I think he has the kind of just acting style and just screen presence that he could. Like I don't know. I know they're making like a Buster Keaton biopic, but I think he would have been a better choice. I think they're getting Rami Malek for it. I don't know if you know.
I do like Rami Malek though.
He's good. I mean, he probably looks more like Buster Keaton, but I think Gosling would feel more. He feels like a silent film actor to begin with.
Yeah,
I think he just does so much with so little, and he's got range.
Right.
He does this, Drive, Blade Runner. He's a great actor.
He
I
is.
need to watch Blade Runner.
Barbie.
Yeah, Barbie.
Hi, Ken. Or, hi, Barbie.
When I was reading about the long shots and stuff, I did see one thing that I thought was funny, and I did not know this. In the movie, Sebastian Ryan Gosling's tip about amplifying a car fob's range by holding it under your chin does actually work.
It works.
But it's not. But is not expected to cause cancer. Most fobs use a frequency that resonate well with water, and the human brain is mostly water.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a cool little thing. I'm going to try it. Because my key fob sometimes doesn't work. So if y'all see me out in the parking lot, key fob to my chin, you know why.
Oh, my gosh.
So, Josh, you said that you feel like the musical numbers are kind of take away from like the greater story.
I don't know if they take away. It just sometimes they feel a little forced, a little wink, wink, nod, nod, like nudge, nudge, like, hey, we're making a musical.
Yeah.
See, that's the part I thought was funny.
I guess you can take it that way. And maybe it's just in retrospect because it did get nominated for all these awards. Like they were just, I felt a little disingenuous to a certain degree. But I like like I said, my favorite parts are just their relationship, like the montages of them. I like going about their days. I like the things, but things I like the most are the non-musical.
Right, yeah,
sequences.
for sure.
Are there musicals you've seen where like where it's the opposite, or like
where I prefer the musical
where
numbers?
You prefer the musical numbers, or where the musical numbers feel like completely indispensable, or
Oh, Tick, Tick, Boom.
Tick, Tick, Boom is great.
Oh, my gosh. I watched that a couple days ago. Andrew Garfield is spectacular.
It's about the guy. It's a musical. It's about the life of the guy who did Rent.
I think.
Jonathan.
Jonathan traditionally in a musical, the story is told through the music.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe that's what I'm feeling here is the story is kind of told outside of the numbers.
Yeah.
Whereas in something like, I really like The Greatest Showman, but the music, the story is told through the music.
Great
And there's
movie.
a constant rhythm throughout the movie. Or South Park, Bigger, Longer, Uncut. The story is told through the music. It's a musical.
I know.
It's a musical. I just go there. Anyway,
So South Park is a musical.
Yes.
yeah, it absolutely is a musical. But I think Greatest Showman's a really good example of the story being told through the music. The West Side Story, either one, too, I think are the musical aspects enhance the story.
Right.
And I feel like here they're like on their own, they're really good. I think they're just sometimes they don't quite blend as seamlessly as they want.
Yeah. And it's really funny because when you were thinking about what movie does that, first thing that popped in my head was Greatest Showman. Because that's another movie we actually both really like.
We both really like.
And
I've seen it way too many times to like.
What?
That was one of those movies where with show choir, if we didn't do anything that day, they were like, well, we'll put on The Greatest Showman. And I watched that movie all my 4 years, probably more than I've seen La La Land.
Yeah.
And it's like I know every word to every song, and I don't want to. I just do.
I love it. I think it's great, and I think you're right. The music is what progresses the story.
Oh yeah.
In that film, yeah. And in like a traditional Hollywood, like a traditional Broadway show, it's like
that is the story.
They're talking in song. Right. They're progressing the narrative through song.
Yeah. And not to bring it back up, but the musical episode of Buffy.
What is Buffy?
The Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's
oh my God! Did he just say what's Buffy?
Yeah.
The kid's 18, man.
Man. Still slag, man.
Anyways,
he might not have been alive when Buffy was out. Actually,
Buffy's been off the air,
but
he's been alive.
That's true. But my point is they do that in that. It's like without the music, that episode wouldn't make sense, and I think that's what makes a great musical of any kind. Anyways, I just thought I'd tell you that.
Plug for the Gerard Butler Family, the opera.
The what?
The Gerard Butler Family, the opera is a great musical that is totally music driven. Oh my God! Watch
I mean, sometimes on screen, so it doesn't. I think the problem with a lot of movie musicals is they're a little scared to really be a musical.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it can come off awkward if someone's just telling you through song what is happening, what they're feeling. On stage, it's different. But on screen, it can come off as like a little awkward. But I think if a film like Phantom or like Grease, like if they lean into it really hard, I think that's the better way to go.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
You would love Tick, Tick, Boom, man.
Tick, Tick, Boom.
I know, I've heard it's good.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's amazing. Andrew Garfield had to learn how to sing
and
for
he
the
does
movie.
a great job.
And he does amazing. Just real quick,
Lin-Manuel
Miranda, because Andrew Garfield looks almost identical to the guy that it's about, Jonathan Larson. And he's like, "Can you sing?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I can sing." And then the first casting day, he was like, "No, you can't." And so he had to take like private lessons to learn how to sing. He kills it, dude. He kills it. He does it awesome. Amazing job.
Who was the guy you just mentioned? Or girl? Or who? Miranda.
He's the
Lin-Manuel
director.
Miranda. He's the dude that did Hamilton.
He did Hamilton.
And Tick, Tick, Boom.
Which I'm going to make you jealous, but I've seen Hamilton live.
Oh my gosh. My friends have seen it live, and I don't like them because of it.
Well, we can't be friends.
I saw Lion
there it
King
is.
live when it was on its musical tour.
I've never seen like a Broadway in New York. I saw Hairspray when it was on tour. It came to Huntington.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That was cool.
That's probably like my dream vacation is to go to a Broadway show.
Yeah, I'd like to go.
I don't even care what it is. I just want to see one.
I just think it'd be a neat experience.
I mean, have you been to like any of the Charleston Light Opera Guild shows?
I have not.
Oh, dude,
I need to.
for it being
I always
like
mean to,
an
and then I
in-town
forget.
thing, it's super awesome.
Yeah. So overall, La La Land, I think we all liked it. You did like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was great. And of course,
10 out of 10 movie.
Yeah, you're the one that
11
picked
out of
it.
10 movie.
So, but I think it's a great, which, we're going to talk about Drive. I think it's a great counterpart to Drive when we're talking about just in the fact of showing Gosling and how different he can be.
Gushing over Gosling.
Yes. So we'll come back and we'll continue gushing over Gosling. Okay, so we're back and we're going to go ahead and jump straight into Drive. Josh and I chose Drive for Drew to watch. And Josh, you want to give us a synopsis?
Okay. Well, this is like a little bit less of a synopsis, so this is like a little note from Nicholas Winding Refn,
Okay.
the director. It's on the back of the 4K set that I own. So this is a note from him. Creating Drive can be compared to Hans Christian Andersen writing a fairy tale. Set in the imaginary world of Los Angeles, Drive is veiled in reality. Everything looks and feels real, but it is infused with pure fantasy. The heroes in the story, a knight, a fair maiden, a dragon, and a wizard, drift through this artificial dreamscape searching to fulfill their purpose, each traveling through their own kismet-driven odyssey. I directed Drive on intuition and instinct alone, feeding the unadulterated desire for more like really good cocaine. Except I couldn't see its color palette. I've been colorblind all my life. I couldn't write its words. I have been dyslexic all my life. I felt Drive, its electric energy, pulsing through me. Like neon liquid, Drive flowed through my veins, revealing my own life in its reflection. Drive is about the kiss. I've only ever kissed one woman in my entire life. Drive is about the violence, fueled by my therapeutic decadence. Drive is about love, not mortal love, but the eternal love, found only when the supreme and divine existence takes form in teenage love's illusion. Drive is imperfect because I'm imperfect. It is 100% me, a blank canvas with a touch of pink neon.
Interesting.
How old is he in the movie? Like his character, Ryan Gosling. Does it say?
It doesn't. I would assume he's probably in 30.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
30s.
early to mid 30s.
Yeah.
I would say somewhere around that age.
I don't know for sure because Bryan Cranston always called him a kid. So I didn't know if he was like portrayed as like a young person.
Bryan Cranston's probably about 60.
Yeah, that's
Or-
true.
Which I totally
Roughly.
forgot he was in this movie.
Yeah.
I know he popped up. I was like, what?
Yeah, I forgot. He
This is
plays
in the
Robin.
middle of like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Like, when this came
I
out, so
love
he was
Breaking
like
Bad so much.
the greatest living actor, pretty much
Yeah.
considered. He still is.
He's
Yeah, he's
so
great.
awesome.
No, he hasn't done as much like post Breaking Bad. Like he's kind of
He's so awesome.
done a lot of not great
Yeah.
stuff, but
He maybe got to a point where he was like, "Yep, I've done it."
I mean, yeah. He kind of reached pinnacle
after Breaking Bad. He's like, "There's nothing more I could do." I mean, like that was my peak performance.
I mean, you're not really going to get better material either.
Oh no,
right? That's true.
Like he reached Everest there.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling playing his age, and Brian. Yeah, they put him at like 30 and 60. That would be
okay.
Kid.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, this movie, like I said before, it's a great parallel in a sense to La La Land, to just see the acting skills of Ryan Gosling. Like you said before, he has that stoicness and that what you can tell his acting can be physical as far as his face and movements, and that's why you were saying he could be in a silent film, which this film doesn't have tons and tons of dialogue.
No, I mean,
even the dialogue it has is short.
I don't know the amount of dialogue he has in the movie, but it's very minimal.
Right.
Like it's probably a dozen sentences or something like that.
The first half, there was not a lot at all. It kind of, I guess he started talking and it started picking up when he started talking to, what's his name?
Standard?
The guy that talks to, or the guy that owns the pizzeria.
Oh, Albert Brooks.
Yeah, that guy. When him and Ryan Gosling kind of like start to interact a lot, that's when I guess the dialogue picked up. But like the whole beginning, like there was nothing.
Yeah, he says nothing there in the opening sequence. And there's a little bit on that opening how it kind of lets you, it's like the prologue, like to a James Bond film or something. So it kind of lets you in for what kind of film you're going to get, and how precise the editing is in that sequence. Like before the people he's driving get out of the car, get in the car. The camera doesn't move from within the car.
Right.
And it's using these same 8 setups over and over again. And there's that tick of the clock, which is the name of the song that's playing, and it's like ticking continuously.
Yeah.
Like his watch. And so you can just feel already there's a rhythm and style that they're going for just right out of the gate, like what kind of film you're in for.
Right.
No, it's okay. I just love how the film's made, and I love how it is silent.
Right.
For most of it, it's just the visuals and the music, and
the soundtrack is awesome.
Yeah, the soundtrack's great. I love driving around at night. I go the soundtrack at night.
I'm gonna have to do that. I would absolutely love that.
Do you want to borrow my jacket?
Oh, I drive. I mean, gosh, I know, dude.
That would put it over the top.
You have that jacket in a car playing the soundtrack.
I'd probably be tempted to break somebody's hand with a hammer, though.
I am him. I am him. I am Ryan Gosling.
It might put me 2 in the movie if I have that jacket.
You need more inspiration for acts of violence.
Yeah.
Give me 5 minutes to get home.
Right.
Although you're right, though. This soundtrack would be great to drive around to.
It is great to drive around.
Yeah, I have not done it. I'm going to have to do that. I used to do that with the the Tokyo Drift soundtrack.
Do you know?
Is that in Tokyo?
Slightly different vibe, but
very so good.
I like to watch the Fast and Furious movies, ironically, but that one might be my favorite.
Oh man, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
So I'm like I have what I like what I love about it.
Yeah.
I'm curious what it is. As I was watching it, I watched it this morning again, and so I'm curious what why you like.
Because it's not a movie I normally would like.
It's like I was watching it, I was like, this seems like something he would not be into, but is it just like the vibe of the film, or?
Yeah, so number 1, you have Ryan Gosling.
You have
Number
Carey
2,
Mulligan.
Amazing.
You have Carey Mulligan as well. Like the cast is great.
True.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not something I normally would like. It doesn't have a lot of dialogue. So you do have to pay attention to it. And as we know, I have a horrible time with that, but it uses the music when there's not dialogue.
Yes.
And therefore you're still pulled in, and it's like a movie you can't turn away from.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Because there is so much storytelling in the music and the action of what people are doing, like that is what drives the story.
Mm-hmm. It lives and breathes. It lives and breathes in those quiet moments.
Exactly.
Like,
and I don't know. There's great violence. There
is, and it's purposely used.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like it has a point. It's done beautifully. When that woman gets shot in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
Like that.
I forgot this movie was R-rated.
Yeah.
So like, of course, the dad got shot and I was like, okay. And then through the window, like head blew up. I was like, holy crap. Like I like jumped a little bit because I forgot that like the movie was R-rated and that just like startled me.
Like during that sequence, he uses like that James Cameron slow-mo.
Mm-hmm.
He uses a lot in like Terminator, where it's just like, it's almost like a dream.
Right.
It's like not really like super slow, but it's just like enough to make it seem unreal.
Yeah.
And like during like really heightened moments like that.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. Like the violence is bloody and I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
But it's used appropriately. It's shot appropriately. It's almost like a fantasy. It's just beautiful.
It wasn't
in a way.
overdone. Like it happened when it needed to happen.
Right, exactly.
Like that stuff had to happen and it was done in an amazing way. Like they didn't overdo it.
Right.
But it informs the character. So it's like him. Like he's pretty docile through a lot of the film.
Mm-hmm.
But at the start, he's almost like an unformed being, almost.
Right.
Like he just exists. He does this. He does that.
Yeah.
He can't sleep. He goes to drive. And it's only when Irene and Benicio come into his life,
shows his character,
that he feels like he has a purpose and he needs something to protect, to watch over. And the violence is a reaction to his world being threatened.
Right.
And it's like you don't get any more contradictory moments in a film than the elevator scene.
I was about to say.
When he kisses Irene,
he
sees the guy has a gun in his jacket. And then whether it's real or not, because you could certainly look, because the lights dim, focuses in on them, goes into slow-mo. Whether or not that actually happened, or that's just what he wants to feel in that moment before he knows he's going to have to do this, that's going to alienate her.
Right.
And that's the, by the end of the film, he, like a real hero is that's what heroism is. That's what, to a certain extent, love is. It's sacrifice. It's knowing you're going to alienate this person. It's knowing that they're not going to think of you the same way, but you have to do this to protect the thing that you care for the most.
Exactly.
And it's even more heartbreaking to them because when she goes to his door, knocking on it, hoping he's there, and it's not. So she still, even after everything, she still wants to be with him.
Right.
I know.
So there's just like that melancholic.
For it being a movie that it was, that elevator scene was crazy. Like you could see like after they kiss, he's like he kind of puts his, I guess, anger out on the dude because he knows that like
he knows
what he wants cannot happen.
Yeah.
So when he starts like going to town on Buddy's head, like I kind of like felt that, like I felt bad for him because he like can't be what he wants to do.
The moment after, and it's still in the slow mo, and it's a shot of him just like looking at her. She's exited the elevator,
and the door shuts,
and I mean it's just the look of, I don't know, like in his face, it's like shock and just knowing that they're never going to go back from this.
Right.
I thought she was going to get shot. The way like the panel was, where she was like dead center, open. Like I thought, just like as soon as she walked out, boom.
Yeah, I think, and I think that's something that also makes this movie great. Is there's that it's ambiguous a little bit at times, but also just. With this one, the same as the La La Land, it's a type of love that it's not so much like one of those love movies I really don't like.
Everything's happy in the end.
Yeah, it's another type of love, and knowing, he's trying to protect his family even when it's not his family. Like even when the dad's back in the picture, like he's still doing it out of love
because he
for that kid and that woman.
Obligation. For Irene and Benicio.
And it's that kind of love. And then same thing, knowing he has to protect her, but knowing it's going to drive her away. Like, and that I think that scene with the elevator closing is also awesome because it's the same thing. It's closing the chapter of them two in a way. And I don't know. I think this movie just has amazing shots. It's beautiful. It also has story. It has so much story and character development, even though most of that's driven by
it's not dialogue driven.
It's not dialogue driven. And which, like I said, would usually turn me away, but it's just done correctly.
Yeah.
In this, and I get that character development. I get that story. Everything I like in a movie is 100% here, just delivered in a way that I wouldn't normally like it, but it's done correctly.
Yeah.
And it's just something you can't turn away from.
And I mean, I'm sure you like, to a certain extent, of the part, where he kind of goes full on slasher mode.
Yeah.
It's on the mask. And the film kind of changes tone.
Yeah, it does.
Right there. And the way that sequence is shot, where he hits the car and flips it over the embankment and onto the beach. And,
yeah, I like that too.
The way he's shot is like almost in silhouette. He's not him. He's very menacing.
Has his mask on, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he's fallen back into something that's primordial and within him.
Right.
It's not.
He's been driven. I've said driven so many times, but he's gotten to that place by outside. He's not himself.
No, and I mean
that's not his normal way.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, he sorry.
Okay.
He told that guy, he's like, I'm the driver. I will not carry weapons on me. He's like, I just drive.
Right.
And then, after that hotel thing, he's like, okay. He's like, I can't, I have to
react.
That's really, I mean, aside from that and the hammer, it's the only time he really uses weapons.
Right.
The weapon is the car. He uses the car to kill.
And even in the motel, it's weapons that have been brought in by other people,
or the shotgun.
What was it, like the shower rod or curtain rod?
Thing that holds
I loved that.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean that one's just a fight or flight.
Exactly.
Spontaneous
That's what I'm
reaction.
saying.
Oh yeah.
The other one is premeditated. Like he is out to kill them after he's
right.
But I think because at that point he realizes there's no other way. Like they're not.
Yeah,
going
it has to happen.
After he goes to visit the dude in the strip club.
Yeah.
With the hammer and everything. He's like, there's no other way out of this, so I'm just gonna take them all out. And then they come to terms with Albert Brooks.
Yeah. Now. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was just going to say at the ending, where they kind of both stab each other. In my opinion, or the way I see it, he knew that was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was just wanting to know if that's how you guys.
I mean,
take it.
I think Driver definitely knew he was like there. I think at that point he knows there's no way out of.
Okay, that's how I read it, because he's not dumb, and he goes into it just like, here's your money, like.
And
so
he
innocent.
called.
And I felt like he knew.
No, he did.
He called.
100%.
He's like, I might not come back from this, and I just want you to know that, like, you gave my life purpose. So, like, I think if he were to get killed, he was content. Like, he was able to have that feeling of, like, I guess, love or, like, purpose in life.
Right.
And he was able to do whatever he could to keep her safe, and he was fine with the outcome of it, you know?
A lot of movies don't do that very well, where they, like, they have a gangster, a mobster, someone involved in crime. It should be fine. And, sorry, my voice is just going. Don't do that very well. And it's like the idea, like, you don't just get to walk away, really.
No.
Right.
Like, and so I think he knew on some level, like, this is going to get me eventually. Might as well be here and now when
on his terms.
On his terms, when he's some level of content with what he's done in his life. I don't know. Did you know that he replaced Hugh Jackman?
No,
this
that's
was originally
crazy.
going to be a Hugh Jackman movie.
Good thing though.
Yeah,
I love Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Like I love him, but nobody could have played it better than Ryan Gosling.
I don't think so.
It's in the trivia, but well, like speaking of musicals, obviously we've talked about The Greatest Showman, but like that's Hugh Jackman got his start in Oklahoma, so it was just an interesting tie back to musicals with Ryan Gosling.
When the mobster guy and they sat down and had that dinner and whatnot.
At the end?
At the end, when he was like, I can keep the girl safe, but you will always be running. Was he talking about, like, he was going to go after him and he killed him, so, like, he's fine now? Or, like, his, like, crew would be after
I think
Ryan Gosling?
It was probably him and probably the East Coast guys.
Because I didn't know if, like, he killed him and then, like, Ryan Gosling left and he's, like, good to go, or he meant as if, like, his, like, whole crew would be after him. That's what I thought.
Like, he'll give him maybe, like, a head start or something, and then he's out. But he knows, like, Gosling, Driver knows at that point that that's not how, he's not going out like that.
Right.
He's going to go out,
Oh, at the very end?
Happens. Yeah.
When he was, like, sitting there and he didn't blink. And they were like, oh, he's dead. And then, like, a very slow just...
Yeah.
Now, do you think he ended up dying, or do you think...
No.
Like, and, like, came back?
So I think the film's a fantasy, but it doesn't allude to any sort of dream, like...
Right.
Aren't any dream sequences before. So unless the film really tells me this is a dream, I'm going to assume it's reality.
Well, I
like that more, that it's like because now he's going to have to live... Because those people are still going to be after him. Because now he's killed the boss, too.
Right.
And I love that. That just reinforces, kind of to a certain extent, like La La Land, like the love you can't have for whatever reason or circumstance.
Yeah.
It's a very cowboy ending. A very
the film's very
fantasy,
inspired by Leone, like the Man with No Name, or Yojimbo. These sort of Shane, like stoic, like heroes in westerns or samurai films. And I think there's definitely like a through line, probably more a little bit from a psychological point of view from Taxi Driver.
Yeah, I could see that.
Was this very lonely, like isolated person who...
Right.
It's like, this is like the more romantic, fantasy-driven version of Travis Bickle to a certain degree.
With the ending, I could almost see it as him dying in a way.
Yeah.
Just because, like, he does have that long stare and then he blinks. But I don't know. In a way, I think it would have been... I don't know. It makes sense that he continues living and has to keep chasing, or being chased. But I also like if he died there, I would have been okay with it too.
I know. Yeah, I was fine.
Part of him did kind of die.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
That's true.
I was like, if he like actually like died, I don't think I would have been upset.
Yeah.
About it. But did you think Shannon had to die? Like, do you think like his death had to happen?
Well, I don't think it had to happen. I don't know though. It kind of,
because they're like, well, we gotta kill them both now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a loose end.
Yeah,
I didn't think he had to die. That part kind of made me upset.
All
that
loose
he
ends
died,
have to go.
just because I love him so much.
Yeah. But which I thought was interesting, that where it is such a silent film in a way without dialogue, that after I guess there was more dialogue originally, but they removed most of the driver's dialogue, and Bryan Cranston felt like his character Shannon should make up for that. So that's why he's such a motor mouth in it.
No, I think that's...
And also that most of his dialogue is improvised.
It sounds,
it wasn't written in.
It sounds very like,
oh, that's cool,
natural.
That's what I was going to say. It does give it that natural talk feel, which I think is great.
Yeah, it's a lot of like the lines like, he couldn't find whorehouse,
right?
Like that makes it's always really fun. Like there's a natural feeling to their interactions with Cranston.
I think it added to it.
Definitely.
And I mean the cast, like the whole cast is great. Like I could watch Gosling and Carey Mulligan just stare at each other for 2 hours while those like few notes play in the background.
Yeah.
But I love Albert Brooks is really terrific. He's I forget his name.
Is he the dad or what? The
looking at the wrong one.
Bernie.
Bernie. Yeah. Just the way he plays that unsuspecting. Like how he can be threatening from kind of like not necessarily meek, but just like unassuming.
Right.
He just looks like any random
Oh yeah,
something-year-old guy, but then he slits your throat or stabs you in the eye with a fork, or I mean, he plays that so well, and he's not someone you would think. That's what's like maybe like if this were like more of a action movie, Hugh Jackman might have been a better choice, but for the film they wanted to make, and actually Ryan Gosling went up to Nicholas Winding Refn after he saw Bronson and Valhalla Rising. Those are his first two films. He was like, I want to work with you at some point, and then they ended up
that's cool
here.
Oh, that's cool.
I hadn't heard about the Hugh Jackman thing. It's probably like the studio wanted Hugh Jackman, or
yeah.
But I can't imagine anybody else in this film.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know if you guys know, there's like a funny little bit of business where there was so the trailers for the film really amped up like the action. Like there's two car chases in the whole film,
right?
Yeah.
And they're very, the one is very short. It's very much like nothing really super crazy happens there, and it's all very ground level. And so the trailer, they really amped up the action. And this woman in Michigan, I think, tried unsuccessfully to sue the movie studio for false advertising because she was expecting some like Fast and Furious or Transporter kind of film, and of course that didn't.
That's wild,
but it's kind of hilarious to like.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because honestly, I remember seeing the trailer for this and being like, oh, that looks pretty good. It looks kind of like a dumb action movie, but it looks pretty good. So I was very surprised when I saw it, and I was like, oh wow, this is not that. This is really something much more special. I'm surprised. I want to be surprised when I go to a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm advertised like a horror movie and I get a comedy, that might be different.
Yeah.
But like, this is still in that same vein of like, it's a thriller. There is some action.
Yeah. As the horror comedy thing, I had that happen with Meg. Or was
the Meg?
The little doll girl.
Oh, Megan.
Oh, Megan.
I was like
I thought it was supposed to be
giant
more
shark movie?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they advertised the shark movies.
But I had a similar experience with Drive. I went into it thinking it was a Fast and Furious movie, and I was not excited to watch it.
Yeah.
But I was watching it with my dad and uncle, and by the end, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love this film!" And they were like, "This is the stupidest thing ever made."
Pretty much.
That's how I got my copy of Drive, because my dad was like, not watching it."
Though, it is a little bit like it's almost like the first Fast and Furious. Like, it's not. It's a much better film. But the idea, like, the Fast and Furious movies didn't become like action movies until like after Tokyo Drift, basically. So it was like, it kind of feels like The Italian Job.
Yeah, I mean, looking
older car movies.
On like the first Fast and Furious, it seems so quaint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so different.
They're stealing like DVD players and TVs.
And they're like barely
not airplanes.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's just a remake of Point Break. Like they just took the Point Break script and copied and changed some character names.
The Italian Job or the French Connect, like those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the couple of chases that are in the film are very much like Bullet or French Connection. Like there's a real sense of urgency and danger. It's not just some ridiculous overlong. CG
This movie feels like it knows how to use a chase in that kind of way.
Yeah,
like 100%. To really like draw the.
And they keep, if you notice, like they keep during that one chase after the heist, the camera is always at like eye level with the car. It's not. There aren't any
overhead
crazy zooming shots or anything.
Right. We're not in the engine.
Yeah. No. You're not like going through the engine, through the windows, all this other crap. And then they punctuate that with, you get to see, there's moments, close-ups of Christina Hendricks and Driver and Ryan Gosling. You never see who's in the other car, so it makes it more menacing.
Right.
But so you see that they're how frightened they are, or how like focused or whatever.
Their reactions.
So it really puts you inside the car.
Yeah.
Even though you're not, but you feel that. So like when he does that turn, it's a sick turn. He's or the reverse flip, I don't know, whatever you call it.
Oh yeah,
it's like whoa.
Yeah,
it's like you feel it.
I think that's part of this where I'm not a big action movie person or anything like that, and I think that's where this differs from other things. Is the action in this is not only action, but there is an anticipation with it, and it builds suspense, and there's definitely and it's used correctly. That it continues the story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd really even call it an action movie.
Right. I wouldn't.
It's more in the thriller.
But usually, even when there's like a thriller and they throw in action, I think it's a lot of times it's not used correctly in the sense that it's too long, or it's this is the perfect amount. It's the story, and it just makes so much sense.
Yeah, I mean, it comes out of the feeling and the characters. It's not gratuitous,
right?
And even like the elevator scene, for instance, there's it maybe lasts maybe 24 frames, maybe a second. Like that shot of him stomping the head, and it's just one shot, and it's maybe a second long, but I can see that in my head.
Right. Oh yeah.
And it's like you don't need a lot of time for something to imprint on your brain.
Exactly.
And I see that shot of her getting her head blown off in the bathroom.
Oh, dude, that's so cool. I rewatched that. Call Me Psycho. That was so cool.
Show me the head blown. Oh, dude.
I saw it. I was like,
they're amazing though. Like, man, that's a good one.
Yeah. Now, we've been talking about the movie, but I don't think we actually asked you overall what did
how
you
I
think
thought
of
about
this
it?
movie.
Yeah.
You hadn't seen this, and it's probably different than a lot of the Ryan Gosling stuff you've seen.
100%.
So how did you feel about the movie watching it for the first time?
I just think it's crazy that he is able to switch like his performance at different like levels. Like, you compare this to Barbie, like
Right.
totally opposite person. Like you would never think that somebody could pull off blood gushing all over his face after complaining about working on a beach in Barbie. Like,
I am beach.
I am beach.
My job is beach.
My job's beach.
Super. Or what is it?
I kind of lost interest in when it wasn't about, when I found out.
Gosh, what does he say when
horses.
Barbie's like, I'll be your long-term, not talk to you at all girlfriend? Sublime! That's what it is. Sublime! But you just wouldn't imagine that he could pull off something this well in a movie. So I think that's what really made me like it, is I know what he can play. But his overall performance and the movie is as a whole is awesome. Like when she has the bag and she gets in the car and you're just waiting for the dad to show up. Like you're waiting for him to pop out of nowhere, and there's no, she's like, come on. But that's the only thing that's said, and he's just waiting. And he's on this deadline. Like, you have to be here at this time or I'm gone. And then he shows up and then he gets popped.
Yeah.
And that was just you just wouldn't think that would happen. And that's probably my favorite part about the movie, is things that happen you would not think would happen.
And just what he can do with just that scene. So he's sitting there in the car waiting, and the other car
shows up, and you're like, what is that car doing?
And all he's doing, he's just looking. He's got his arm resting up on the windowsill, and he just tightens his fist.
Yeah,
right.
And you hear the leather glove cracking, and just the look in his face. You're like, oh man. It just that little bit, just really ratchets up the tension.
He's done it before.
Yeah, you don't need a lot. You just need something like that really will be like, okay, something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen.
Where's this car? What's this car? What? So many questions.
Right.
That was the whole movie was oh, what's gonna happen if this person shows up? Or when he is in the speed chase and he goes and hides behind a truck and turns his lights off, and the police car is sitting there staring at him. And you're like, I wonder if the police car sees him.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I thought it was super cool. He was listening to the sports game while he was doing it, so he could figure out when to pull in and get out with the hat on.
Yeah.
That was crazy. And he walks by police officers they don't know who he is. That part was super, super cool.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, the movie was awesome. It's one of those things I would watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I think this is only my second time watching it.
Oh, really?
But it is, it's rewatchable 100%.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah,
the movie's awesome.
I probably watched it 3 times in the last year.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just it's a mood movie too. It's I just want to feel that mood, and I'll just
Right.
Oh, yeah. I watched it at night with all the lights off on this like big TV. Like I made sure like I was watching like
look at him.
cinema ordeal.
I watched it on TV.
You got some competition there.
I went to the basement. I went to my
watching
basement.
it on his phone while he's doing laundry or whatever.
Is that what you do? Is that what you do?
Yes.
Then how do you watch it? How do you like watch the movie?
He
Only
does it.
sometimes.
That's the answer.
The best we get out of him is if he watches it on his phone, because then he can't text or do anything.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very much, and this is the same way I am with work. Like when I work in my office, I have to have something in my ear, like a podcast or a book, for me to be able to focus on my work.
Shuts off that part of your brain.
Where I have like horrible ADHD. So like doing laundry and watching a movie,
it's the best.
It's like laundry becomes something I'm just doing with my hands, and I'm watching the movie the whole time.
That's fine, but like you can't have a phone in the movie going at the same time.
Yeah, well,
Because
sometimes
then you get distracted.
No,
your
I
mind is distracted. Like your mind can focus on the movie, and you can be doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure
like that's what
slept through our entire Asian cinema episode.
I totally did.
Yeah, and didn't watch a single bit of them.
That's so funny.
I was not playing with my phone during that.
You're just sleeping.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, I went into my basement, and we had this old like big TV in there. But I hooked up my Xbox to it so I could watch it. I went and got snacks. I sat on the couch and I cranked that thing, and like I watched that movie.
Yeah, it's good.
And so when that gunshot through the window happened, it was so loud. Ugh. I had to like rewind it. I was like, I gotta rewatch that.
You don't expect
I heard old TV. How thick is the back of this TV?
Oh my gosh, dude. It's got that thing where like it curves outwards and then down and like this. Like it's got that fat middle.
Yeah.
Is it a CRT TV?
I have no idea. It has the like
is it square?
Very old no, it's like a flat screen.
Okay.
But like it has a fat and the remote has like the old Netflix logo on it.
Oh, okay.
Where
So
like
it's
the words
still
are
a smart
white.
TV. Got it.
The words
Not
not like crazy. Like it can do like 720 max.
Okay. It was probably like an old plasma or something.
Something like that. Something like that.
Okay. I was just thinking that you were down in your basement with a CRT TV or one of those big screens. Do you remember those?
With the three like red, yellow, blue board or red, yellow, white.
And they weigh about 100 pounds for a TV with a monitor.
Oh no, I'm not. Yeah. It's pretty old, but not black and white.
Those were black and white.
First TV I ever had was a 13-inch black and white TV.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I mean the movie was killer. It was super awesome. Literally. Killer.
Good.
Literally.
Glad you liked it.
Yeah, I think I just think it's a movie that has a little bit of everything in it, and I don't know. It's just the shots are great, and it builds the suspense. Him sitting there with the watch ticking, or
putting it on the wheel.
Yeah, or just him sitting there knowing that other car is there, and the grip of his hand, and little things like that. I don't know. It's just one of those movies. I feel like it's got a little bit of everything, and the way it all comes together is just perfect.
You notice more each time.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, that I watch it.
I have a movie question for you guys, and then it will be about that time. We'll go around. What is your favorite movie with a nameless protagonist?
Oh gosh.
Like this one.
Give me like 3 hours.
I can give
can't even
you
think
like
of
a
another
list. You've talked about
Josh
one on
needs
this
to go
show
first,
that's a Quentin Tarantino that you quite like.
Kill Bill? One or two?
Both.
Oh, cool.
The Bride.
I'll choose those.
They say her name.
The Bride is her name.
No, her name's Beatrix.
Her name is The Bride in the credits.
Well, her name's Beatrix in the movie because they say her name's Beatrix.
The first, did they say it in the first one or the second one?
The second one.
Okay,
Oh,
so
the
Kill
first
Bill
one is
Volume
just The
1,
Bride.
she is nameless.
Okay, yeah, technically in the first one, she's nameless.
Sure, I'll pick that one then.
She's the bride.
I can't think of any.
Do you have one?
I mean, probably this or technically Kill Bill Volume 1. Tenet's a good one. His name is technically protagonist. I mean, it's probably...
Yeah.
You like Under the Skin.
Ooh, The Giver.
That's true. Yeah, she doesn't have a name in that.
I watched The Giver in school. That one was pretty good.
I'll let you look at the list.
I just like most of these movies are like 2000s. Mm-hmm. And I just
born.
like did not
shoot me.
Now it says Zombieland is one.
What?
Zombieland is really good.
Shoot me in the face.
Yeah, because they don't have real names. It's called
Most of these movies are from 2000.
Oh yeah. See, I really liked Zombieland.
Yeah.
That one was funny.
One from the Asian cinema episode is on here.
Well, that's probably why I fell asleep.
Oh, Hero.
The hero, the nameless. Yeah.
Nameless. Well, his name is Nameless.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have one. I mean,
I think Driver's the best that I know of example of it, because through the movie I didn't even realize I didn't know his name.
I know it took me because like you were saying, like the driver, I was like,
because I never thought of
Ryan
it.
Gosling.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know. I didn't need to know his name.
Yeah, you don't focus on what his name is.
I think Fight Club also is a good.
I need to watch Fight
Yeah,
Club.
because you don't know his name. His name's just narrator.
Yeah,
I need to watch Fight Club. I haven't watched Fight Club.
Oh yeah, you
should watch Fight Club.
I've only seen it once back in college, and
well, you can't talk about it.
I know. Yeah, I know the rules, but that's it.
But I guess our podcast just.
And that's Fight Club.
And we're done with that movie. I guess Driver is my favorite one.
Probably the best one that does it.
So, you guys both like this movie a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I could give a couple recommendations of movies that this one was clearly inspired by.
Okay.
One would be Michael Mann's first film, Thief, with James Caan.
Never heard of it.
It's about a safe cracker. He's a thief.
Yeah.
Appropriately titled. And he falls in love with a woman and is trying to get out of it. And there's a lot of, like tropes of the genre.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have a name?
He does. I forget the name.
Oh.
His name. It's James Caan though, and he's James Caan. But the whole style of the film, most of it's set at night. It's rain-glistened streets. It has a very synth score, a lot of neon, a lot of hard neon colors. It just has a very similar style. Uses slow-mo in certain moments. It's not like really an action film. It is more like a thriller / character piece.
Yeah.
And the other one would be the appropriately titled The Driver. Walter Hill's film. I think it was
1978.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Starring Ryan O'Neal and Isabelle Adjani.
He's great.
From Possession, which Toby loves.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I like Possession a lot too. I even mentioned it in my article. And it's very similar feel too. Like those movies are clearly he watched. Nicholas Refn grew up on those movies. He also grew up on a lot of giallo movies too. So I think that's where a lot of the very strong, short but graphic moments of violence come from. Is from his giallo influences. And so I don't know if you know, but giallo is like a Italian horror genre, and it's like some of them are incomprehensible, but they have very distinct and very pointed moments of extreme violence. So I think that's where that comes. So I think Drive is really it's just a mashup of everything that he really loves, and is very it's a movie you feel. It's not like a highly intellectual film, although you can intellectualize it. But I think it's just one you feel. It's
definitely.
Film.
I have struggles liking, now as we know, almost everybody on the podcast really loves horror, and I really like horror. I have struggles with a lot of giallo.
Me
There's
too.
some that I really like.
I'm coming around to them.
But it's it has something to do with how, especially the zanier ones, when it's slow and incomprehensible, it's it's hard to
get into it.
Well, what are some horror movies like giallo?
It would be stuff like Suspiria or Tenebrae.
Never heard of this.
Zombie. They're Italian films from 40 and 50 years ago.
Oh, gotcha. That's why.
The Suspiria remake, though.
The remake is
I
good.
really love.
But they tend to be very when they're like Toby said, if nothing really crazy is happening, they can be very dull. But when it goes nuts, it goes to 11.
What's the one with the eye?
That's Zombie. Yeah.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
They actually impale the eye of a real corpse on it, so it's very
that's gross.
Yeah. And the thing that they would do is they would hold on a shot a little bit longer than what you would think that they would, like an American film would have cut by this point. They just hold it a little bit longer.
Yeah, they put a shard of wood all the way through like a real eyeball. They got into some trouble for that one.
What's helped me a lot,
but the person was dead.
Yeah, the person was dead. Yeah.
What's helped me a lot with like Giallo films is listening to the Video Archives podcast with Tarantino and Roger Avery. They have a couple episodes on some Giallos, and they've really made me want to go back and reevaluate.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be watching some here.
How do you feel about like the Saw films? Because we were talking about like scenes that like make you like watch them happen. I hate them.
So I love the first Saw. I think that is a great.
It's an okay flick.
I think it's a great movie for the budget it had. And I mean,
for what they had to work with, I think it's a solid movie.
Yeah. It's a solid little horror movie. I also like the Hostel films. Okay, but for me, like the rest of the Saw movies just aren't my bag.
They just like go.
I don't
constantly.
I don't like watching people just. I don't feel like I love gore, but I don't know that I like gore that feels realistic when it doesn't really do anything for the plot.
No, I mean it has to be like something. Gore needs to be something either that makes you wince, like makes you feel like I like these characters. I don't want them to get hurt. Or makes you laugh, like Evil Dead 2 or Armory or something like that, where it's like the gore is cartoonish and funny.
Yeah, Aaron. Stupid Saw movies.
Aaron likes all gore. It's okay.
I think Saw does it. I mean, that for me, it does have enough story for me to enjoy the gore and the anticipation of what's going to happen in a Saw movie. I mean, granted, there were a couple that were a little off the rail, and that's what happens when you're making 40 of the same movie. But like this newest one kind of reeled it back in. Yeah.
So we all love Drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Yes.
That's good. So we all liked both movies. Gushing over Gosling, our episode for Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
I think it was a success.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, thank you, Drew, for being on here as our special guest.
I had a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll come back another time.
Yeah.
You never know.
We'll have to figure another theme.
Hopefully. It was good. It was good being able to watch a movie that I knew was going to be good.
Yeah.
Because you guys have hyped it up. So
yeah, it was great. So I guess we need to pick movies for next time.
Yeah.
Our next episode's going to be our Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah.
I can't really remember what we did last year for our Thanksgiving episode. But anyways, lately we like a theme. So
I don't think it was a Thanksgiving theme, so
yeah, maybe not. But this year, I guess I don't know. Anyways, it's going to be our Thanksgiving episode. Yeah. So what do you have for me to watch?
The greatest Thanksgiving film or holiday film ever made, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
No.
Okay. I have not seen it.
What is that?
Always wanted to, just, oh, Lord.
You're never coming on again.
Oh, crap. What is it? Like,
it's a movie. It's a movie with Steve Martin and John Candy. You never heard of it?
No.
It's these two guys that are trying to get just back home, and weather and circumstance, their plane lands and they have to take a train. The train breaks down, and it's just them dealing with each other as they travel. And it's hilarious.
That'd be good.
It's hilarious. It's genuine. It's heartbreaking, and it's uplifting. And we'll cry every single time I watch it. It's the best film, best holiday film, bar none.
All right.
I watch it every Thanksgiving.
Okay. So I'm excited to see that one. We're getting to the point where I'm having to pull movies that I have only seen once and just really enjoyed to have you watch. So this is going to be another one that I loved originally. I haven't seen it since. Hopefully it holds up. When I think Thanksgiving, I don't think like the little happy times that most people think of. I think of family and what is it called?
Family
disaster?
Drama?
No.
Dysfunction.
Dysfunctional family.
Oh, you're going to make me watch Texas Chainsaw again?
No. No, but that'd be good. That'd be hilarious.
Family. That's a little different.
A little bit of a different dysfunctional family, but I'm going to have you watch August Osage County.
Oh, okay.
I loved this movie. Like I said, I haven't seen it since, but I absolutely loved this movie when it came out. It has a good cast.
Okay.
So hopefully you'll like it.
All right.
But it definitely is. It's not set at Thanksgiving. Set around a funeral, but it's still
like
dysfunctional and just is the type of family reunion I'm used to at Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So
sounds good.
Step into Aaron's life.
But so that will be our Thanksgiving episode. And definitely watch those movies and come back and join us as we talk about them. That would be November 15th.
Yep.
And yeah, so until then, I'm Aaron.
I'm Josh.
And this has been The Real Opposites.